afternoon, Justice
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Corpin. You are currently an Associate Justice of the Court of Appeals.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what lessons from your appellate experience can you bring should you be appointed as Ombudsman to address reduction of case backlogs and achieving high percentage of success rate in the prosecution of corruption cases?
Okay, Your Honor. I think we were required to submit our action plan
Yes.
to the Honorable JBC. And there are some points there that I'd like to highlight as a means of expediting and improving the efficiency of the Office of the Ombudsman. One thing is we have to systematize everything. We have to conduct retraining and upskilling of employees, investigators, agents, and prosecutors alike, in a sense that investigators should also have the same training as judges on, number one, appreciation of evidence, number two, on probative values of proofs, number three, on the weight of evidence required in either convicting or acquitting or dismissing a case, and number four is on the observation of the demeanors of the witnesses during the hearings or during the preliminary investigations, Your Honor. And second is, I would also like to improve the prosecutorial skills of the state special prosecutor. In so doing, we need to have programs and trainings to upskill the skills, like the trial techniques and the documentary appreciation of the prosecutors, and also the skill and training in the presentation of evidence.
Justice, if I may cut you, can you be more specific on how to attain these trainings once you get appointed to the Ombudsman?
Well, Your Honor, I just came from Harvard because of the training I had with the Court of Appeals. I discovered that some of the schools like that, like Harvard University, they have programs for training of prosecutors, for training of investigators, training of agents that we can actually utilize. But I don't know if we actually are doing it right now. But if there is a continuing, regular, monthly training exercises for all these agents and employees of the Ombudsman, that will effectively improve their skills and abilities. And number four also is a monitoring system. I think it's in my action plan, Your Honor, that the Office of the Ombudsman has to have a monitoring system on the efficiency of the investigators, efficiency of the prosecutors, and I suggested even a conduct of an audit, either performance audit and also fiscal audit on all the investigators. And we will know by the monitoring system whether the investigator has backlogs or is resolving the decisions on time or not on time, and the efficiency or the quality of work because of the performance audit that we will conduct.
How would you handle situations where the Ombudsman must investigate high-ranking officials, former colleagues, or those who may have had a role in your appointment or promotion?
Your Honor, I always believe in the rule of law. And whenever, like me in the Court of Appeals right now, I usually, as a matter of principle, I usually follow the evidence. Whatever the evidence leads me to, then I have to resolve it based on that. I have to resolve it based on the facts, based on the evidences that are presented to me, without actually considering the personalities and people involved outside of the papers that I receive.
And how would you handle these people who come to you? How will you approach them?
Your Honor, there are a million and ways to avoid perhaps encounters like that. So many excuses. One way I think of, I was thinking.
Please share your
Your Honor.
personal experience.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I would like to hear that.
One way, in fact, one way that I did when I got appointed in the Court of Appeals was I changed my phone number, contact number, so that I could limit the access to people who are calling me and asking help from me. That's one. Number two is I would always avoid holding my phone and giving it to my staff so that it's not me personally answering the phones, but my staff. I only answer calls that are important and from people really close to me, like my family. Otherwise, I would not answer my call personally, the calls personally. Well, those are some of the ways that I did actually when I got appointed, Your Honor.
So it will be difficult for us to call you.
It might be that way, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
The doctrine of inordinate delay has led to the dismissal of several corruption cases. How will you address this situation if appointed as Ombudsman?
May I reiterate, Your Honor, my action plan there? My action plan is a constant, regular monitoring of all the performances, the cases pending. And just like what we are doing right now in the Court of Appeals, Your Honor, that each of us would monitor each of our cases and age them according to the number of years they have been pending with us. And fortunately, I'm proud to say, Your Honors, that in my case, I have a zero backlog. I don't have any backlogs anymore in my office, in my chambers. So the constant monitoring and audit will really solve the problem, and we keep on reminding our investigators, our case holders, our lawyers there that they need to update their performances so that we can keep track. If we age the cases, we can keep track on what cases have long been there pending and what cases have already been resolved and not resolved yet.
What about, let's say you are appointed as Ombudsman,
Yes,
what
sir.
will you do with currently delayed, inordinately delayed cases? How will you handle this situation?
I would create a special group or special team to handle all those cases, find more efficient lawyers inside the Ombudsman, and deploy them and deputize them to expeditiously resolve the cases, especially the age cases already pending with the Ombudsman.
Now, what would be your vision for the office of the Ombudsman? Let's say you are appointed by the end of your term. What should we expect?
By the end of my term, Your Honor, I would expect, number one, the Ombudsman to have been digitalized in its cases, that we will have a digital system of filing cases, resolving cases, and sending notices to the litigants and parties, and just like the IPJI of the Supreme Court that we are actually implementing now. We'll digitalize everything, and then number two, at the end of my term, I will expect that the office will also be interfacing with other agencies of the government, like law enforcement agencies. The same way, again, that the SPGI, the Supreme Court now is implementing on the strategic plan for judicial innovation, when the Supreme Court is interfacing with the DOJ and DILG so that we can have only one database, one information that we share to each other. so that we can have a more effective, more efficient disposition of cases. Right now, I'm also a member of the JSCC, the Judiciary Sector Coordinating Council, where we normally meet on plans on how to interface the information and knowledge we have with other agencies like DOJ, the NBI, the CIDG, and the DALG also. So we have an ongoing program like that in the judiciary, Your Honor. Perhaps I can replicate that system in the Ombudsman.
My follow-up question to that, actually.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you are part of the system, the Justice System Coordinating Council?
Yes, Your Honor.
How come the Ombudsman was not included?
Oh, because I think the original concept of that was to address specific crimes during which the Ombudsman was not really that concerned yet, like specific crimes like trafficking, drugs, and all that. That's precisely the reason why this JSCC was created.
So now you will involve corruption cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. How do you define moral courage in public office? And can you cite an instance in your career when you had to make an unpopular but principled decision? That's my last question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Moral courage for me is sticking to my personal, deeply entrenched moral values, that despite all the influences, despite all the external factors coming my way, I stand pat by that moral value. And, well, one instance that I can actually cite was when I was in the practice of law. I practiced in Tacloban. I handled one case. This case involved a very poor old lady owning a certain vast property within the city of Tacloban. And unfortunately, she was sued by an influential family in Tacloban for ejectment, meaning she wants to they wanted her to get ejected from her own property. And the problem here was that the influential family had the title to the property, whereas the old woman, my client, had no title because she said that during the time of the cadastral survey, she was not around in the place. She was, I think, in Manila at that time. So another person was actually causing the registration for her over the property. And because of that, the title was named in the influential family's name. Because of that, the ejectment suit, I handled her case, and we won actually in the MTC. We questioned the title, and then when the case was appealed to the RTC, we again won in the RTC. The appeal was dismissed, and unfortunately, after 5 days after I got the copy of the decision of the RTC, the same judge reversed the decision altogether with an exactly opposite set of facts. And I only came to know about later on that the judge was having an affair with my opposite counsel. And I told my client that I'm sorry, I could not really do, it's beyond my control to have this case won in the same sala. We need to do something like an appeal or MR and have the judge disqualified from handling this case. Unfortunately, my client was blaming me for everything. But I still stood pat in my principle that I had to push for an appeal or for an inhibition of the judge. Unfortunately, the judge is now dead. So, we can consider that as, I don't know, Your Honor.
The red light is on. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Justice,
Thank
and
you, Your
good
Honor.
luck.